Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. Today I want to give you the top 10 differences between a weak versus a strong asylum case. So before I get to my top 10 differences, I want to touch base on what asylum is and what it isn't. The most common misconception about asylum is that anyone can get it for any reason. A lot of times people come into the office and they said, I heard something on the news in my country, I'm afraid to go back. There's not a lot of work or jobs in my country. I want to apply for asylum so I can stay in the country a little bit longer. That's not how asylum works in the United States. Asylum is only available for people with a credible fear of persecution on the basis of political opinion, race, religion, nationality, or membership in a particular social group. Now that we have a basic understanding of what asylum is, let's go ahead and discuss the top 10 differences between a strong versus a weak asylum case. The first difference is the time of filing. Asylum cases, for the most part, must be filed 1 year after a person enters the United States. So if a person files outside of the 1 year window, that automatically makes that case a weak asylum case. Now, if you have a weak asylum case because you're filing outside of that 1 year period, hire an attorney because in limited circumstances, you can still file a successful asylum case. The second difference is the type of fear that someone has. So for weak asylum cases, it's for people that they had something happen to them a long time ago and they can't really prove whether or not it's going to happen again. Someone with a strong asylum case may have had something happen to them multiple times, and every time it involves the same situation. They're being persecuted on the same basis over and over. The third difference between a strong versus a weak asylum case is whether or not that person actually sought help. So if a foreign national was persecuted in his or her country, if they reached out to the police or they reached out to the government for assistance, that makes for a stronger asylum case because it shows that the government was unwilling or unable to assist them. And this is where the US government steps in because they will feel as though this is a stronger case versus someone that something happened to them, they held it inside, they didn't tell anyone. So the US government is more reluctant to say that the government is unable or unwilling to help you because you never even tried to get the help. The fourth difference is ongoing fear. So if someone has something happen to them when they were young, but nothing has happened years later, that's not really a good asylum case because they can't show ongoing fear. But if someone was persecuted, let's say last year, they went back to their country, they were persecuted again, and then they left that country, that shows that they have an ongoing fear, and it's credible because they keep on getting persecuted for some type of reason. The fifth difference is the ability to move or relocate. So for weak asylum cases, it's where the country is very big. Maybe there's certain parts of the country that are safe, certain parts of the country that are dangerous. So if the applicant or if the government is able to show that the asylum applicant can move to a different part of the country and be safe, that makes for a weak asylum case. But let's say, for example, the asylum applicant has tried to move before, but they were unable to because the perpetrators would follow them wherever they lived. That makes for a strong asylum case because the person can show that no matter where they go, no matter where they try to hide, the perpetrators are still there and they're still in danger. The sixth difference is the amount of evidence that you have. So a weak asylum case will just be probably the application itself, and that's it. If you want to make a very strong asylum case, you should have evidence and lots of it. Evidence can be, let's say, for example, you were persecuted and you were abused and you got hurt. So if you have copies of the medical records or a letter from the hospital, if you have a police report, if the news covered it, if you were imprisoned, if you have the court records, that's another important piece of evidence. And if you have witnesses that can write a letter explaining exactly what they saw you go through, this is another piece of really good evidence. Now, if you have nothing, because a lot of asylum applicants, they come to the United States, they really don't have a lot of evidence to provide. I mean, they left everything behind. It makes a lot of sense. So what you need is a very strong personal statement. And that personal statement or personal narrative, it will account in detail exactly what happened to you. So if you don't have any evidence, I strongly recommend that you hire an attorney, because the attorney will know what kind of questions to ask. That way, when you complete the personal narrative, and if that's your only evidence, that it's very strong so that you have a good asylum case. The seventh difference is a criminal record. If the asylum applicant has blemishes in their record, like they have crimes from other countries, from the United States, let's say DUIs for drinking while they're driving, or they have drug possessions, their case is going to be a lot weaker, because the officer is not going to believe whether or not they're telling the truth. But if you have a clean record and you have strong affidavits that show that you are a person of good moral character, it will only help your asylum case. The eighth major difference is the amount of asylum claims that that person has, or forms of relief. So as we all know, there's multiple reasons for asylum. Again, it's for persecution on account of political opinion, of race, nationality, membership in a particular social group. So if you were persecuted on more than one of these grounds, you should select more than one of these grounds. It would only help your case if you can show that you are persecuted on many different grounds. What we see in our practice a lot is that when people do this themselves, or they do it with an attorney that's not experienced, the attorney is only going to select maybe one reason, thinking that that's all they can select. But in actuality, the more reasons you select, the better. Because let's say, for example, a person was persecuted based on, they selected political opinion. But when you actually read the facts of their statement, they were persecuted on account of their nationality. So in this situation, the asylum application could be denied because of the wrong selection on why they're seeking asylum. So it's very important that before you start selecting these little categories, you speak with a licensed immigration attorney. That way they can advise you on the best choices to select. The ninth major difference is the personal statement. Again, the personal statement is one of the most important pieces of evidence, because it describes what you, the applicant, felt or how you were persecuted. And this is the entire basis of your asylum application. So I'll be honest with you, I understand a personal statement is not easy to do, because it's written mostly in English, or if you have it, you have to get it translated to English. So if your country's first language is not English, it's going to be very difficult for you to write a clear and concise personal statement. And you have to understand one thing. This is a document that immigration officers will have when they are trying to make a decision on your asylum case. So if you have a personal statement and it's full of errors, let's say, for example, the grammar is incorrect, there's a lot of misspellings, it's not concise, there's a lot of run-ons, it includes a lot of things that are irrelevant to your case, the asylum officer, when they read it, they can be bogged down with just all the mistakes that you have made and not take you seriously. And I see this a lot with people that hire attorneys that speak mostly their language. So if you hire an attorney just because they speak your language, be very careful. I see a lot of attorneys that speak a second language very well, but they don't speak English very well. And this is a big disservice to their client, because the attorney is helping you with your personal statement. They're telling you what is missing. They're going to give you tips on how to fix your statement to make it more concise, or what to take out because it's irrelevant. And if you have an attorney that doesn't understand English that well, you're going to have a really big issue having a good personal statement. So just be aware that if you hire someone to help you with your personal statement, make sure that they not only speak your language very well, but they speak English well, or even better than your native language. The 10th difference is having an immigration attorney, or hiring one. According to TRAC Immigration, the evidence shows that the chances of winning asylum in immigration court increases substantially if you have an immigration attorney. An example for fiscal year 2016, immigration judges denied unrepresented asylum seeker claims at least 90% of the time. 90%. In contrast, if the person was represented by an attorney, that number was reduced to 48%. So it's almost, you have a 50% higher chance of winning your case if you have an attorney. It looks that way. And it's not just hiring any immigration attorney. Before you hire an immigration attorney, you really need to look at their credentials. See how many years they have been practicing. See how many cases they have handled. Maybe ask a friend, has anyone ever used them before? What do they know about this person? And look at their reviews online. Right now we're living in the digital age and everything is available on the computer. All you have to do is simply type in that attorney's name, type in the word attorney, type in reviews, and you should be able to pull up a lot of websites where it has reviews from prior clients. Now, if you're hiring an attorney that maybe has been practicing for 20 years, 30 years, and they have no reviews online, think about it. Why do you think they don't have any reviews online? Or if you're hiring an attorney and they're newly licensed, or their website indicates that they don't even practice immigration. They mainly handle criminal. Now, if that's the case, then you should be wary. Sure that you hire an immigration attorney that's qualified for your case if you want a stronger chance of success with your asylum case. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please let us know by clicking the thumbs up button. If you want to be alerted to new videos, click on the bell icon. And if there's an immigration topic that you would like us to discuss or need help on, feel free to let us know in the comments. Again, thank you for watching Winning Immigration, and we hope that we have made immigration easy to understand.
At David Nguyen's law office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office of David Nguyen.